guys, Jesse 504 here, bringing you guys the LBT Week 6 feature match. This week we got FattieJones coaching the Ascended Aipoms going up against Liam coaching the Belfast Frostbite, and this matchup surely was great. So I got both teams this time. Fattie's team consists of Mega Blaziken, Lunala, Genesect, Rotomwash, Hydreigon, Weezing Galar, Quillfish, Lando T, Superior, Stakataka, and Lycanroc Dusk. And Liam's team consists of Mega T-Tar, Zamazenta, Latias, Gliscor, Scolipede, Cloyster, Rotom-Mow, Arceus Fire, Xerneas, Bronzong, and Archeops. So a very threatening team from both sides. So starting off with Fattie's team, which looks to be built around getting speed passed to the Lunala this week as the win con, with Blaziken, obviously, Baton Pass, Protect, pretty standard on it. Choosing to go with Flamethrower and Vacuum Wave for the other two moves, solid stabs and priorities, so that he doesn't get out priority by Liam. Obviously, I don't think once the Blaziken gets going, it's really worried about being outsped, but more so out prioritied. Although the main form of priority that I would see, that I would be the most afraid of on Liam's team, is the Arceus. Although with extreme speed, so Vacuum Wave doesn't outspeed that. Though I guess they could also be going toe to toe with speed because Liam's team has a Scolipede on it. But yeah, pretty standard special Blaziken. I'm pretty sure that Blaziken's special attack is pretty close to its physical attack, at least in non-Mega. I'm pretty sure Mega keeps it that same way. Up next, the Superior. Leaf Storm, Dragon Pulse, Subseed. Pretty standard Superior set right there. Obviously, Leaf Storm and Dragon Pulse are kind of its two real only attacking moves, just because its move pool is kind of shallow, which is unfortunate, but it is still able to capitalize with Leaf Storm being such a great move for it. And then Subseed is great against really any matchup because Liam, I don't remember, his grass type being very strong, if he even has one, which I don't think he does. So yeah, Subseed seems pretty free. Up next is that potential win con here with the Lunala. Heavy duty boosts to keep the Shadow Shield intact. Calm Mind, Moongeist Beam, Focus Blast, and Psychic. Obviously Focus Blast is a risky move, but you need to be clicking it when you're going up against a Mega T-Tar that would wall you otherwise. It also hits Zamazenta really hard, which is great, although it still gets hit, or I guess because this isn't Crown Zamazenta, it would be hit super effectively by Psychic, so disregard that. But being able to keep the Shadow Shield intact with a heavy duty boost pretty much ensures a Calm Mind, and being past speed from the Blaziken is also really helpful. Up next, Genesect holding the Douse Drive to give it Water Technoblast, which I believe is a 90 or 100 base power move if I remember correctly. So it's pretty much like a Surf. Bug Buzz, Flash Cannon, Technoblast, and Psychic. Just doing what it needs to do. I really like bringing Technoblast here to try to catch Arceus, although that thing would outspeed, so if you got past speed, potentially that could be helpful. Also going to be wanting to trace special attack, which I think is fairly possible against Liam's, or not trace, download special attack, which I think is very possible. But Technoblast helps you with the Mega T-Tar, it helps you with the Gliscor, it helps with the Arceus, which are all, and it helps with the Archeops, but I think that one gets hit super effectively by Flash Cannon, same with T-Tar, so it's a solid coverage move. I really like it this week. I'm not sure what another item would have done to help out more, so I would respect that bring. Up next, Galarian Weezing with a Custap Berry, Haze, Will-O-Wisp, Strange Team, and Memento, which I assume is what you want to Custap into. Yeah, just a fairly simple, solid set. Does what it needs to do. Haze can shut down if Liam is trying to speed pass, maybe Custap into Haze could be pretty helpful, but just otherwise just a great physical wall. Do what it needs to do because Liam's team is predominantly physical attackers, although Arceus and Xerneas can both go special. And then lastly, Rotom Wash seems to be a support Rotom Wash this week, packing Volt Switch, Hydro Pump, Will-O-Wisp, and Defog. So just fairly standard, I would say. So kind of the really innovative sets here. I like the Weezing set. I think that can put in work. I like the Genesect with the Dash Drive, and I like the Blaziken. Yeah. And then if we go to Liam's sets, we see that his sets I really like. He brings the Archeops with Choice Specs, Earth Power, Heat Wave, U-Turn, and Knockoff, which, yeah, they're pretty solid. If I remember correctly, Archeops has a special attack stat that's really close to, if not the same, as its physical attack, so being able to hit really hard that way is really helpful, kind of bringing mixed with Knockoff as well, just for solid support. Zamazenta, getting to just pack Crunch, Close Combat, Fire Fang, and Ice Fang, do just super effective damage to a lot of things. Don't really need to do that much. It's not Crown variant, it just looks that way, but it is just the, I believe, what should we call it, winner of many battles, or hero of many battles variant. Yeah, it's kind of the one that looks like it. It's not the shield one, but it is still very threatening, especially with that Dauntless Shield boost. Yeah, I can just put in work and be a solid wall to take hits as well. Up next, Latias, Soldew, Levitate for the ability, pretty solid set. Psychic, Ice Beam, Draco Meteor, and Recover. Soldew I really like, although it did get nerfed in Gen 7 to, I believe, be boosting Psychic and Dragon Boost by 1.2 or 1.3 times for the Latis, but still does a lot. Not what it used to be, which was just Calm Mind as an item, but still pretty solid. Yeah, and then Recovery is very consistent, and Draco Meteor obviously just hits everything kind of hard. That isn't Weezing, but you can't really safely bring Weezing in anyways. Up next, Mega T-Tar, Sandstream, obviously Crunch, Fire Punch, Ice Punch, Earthquake. Doesn't really go the route of Setup Sweeper, just going for a nice variety attacker, which I really like. Not trying to use T-Tar as a win con, but yeah, that's one thing on this team that I don't really notice like a clear win con. I feel like everything just can kind of break somewhat early, and then also end up cleaning late if it has to. Up next, Arceus Fire, Ice Beam, Judgment, which is Fire, Recover, and Earth Power. I really like, he kind of has recurring themes of ground, ice, and fire coverage. Pretty much everywhere on the team, you'll have one move that's either ground, ice, or fire, and often more. So yeah, kind of just identifying weaknesses. Obviously, he's pretty afraid of Landorus this matchup, I can tell, just by the amount of ice moves that he's bringing. Also, it hits superior. Ground is for stack attack, I assume, and fire is for Genesect, but some of these types can kind of just go unchecked. Like, you have not too much Ghost and Dark, which could be helpful against the Lunala. You have a little bit, but there could always be more. And then lastly, we have Gliscor holding the Toxic Orb, Poison Heal obviously, Roost, EQ, Defog, Stealth Rock. I like this thing just as a physical wall, can kind of come in on the Blaziken, and the Blaziken can't really do too much to it, although it can pass out, which is always threatening. But yeah, just kind of a passive Mon, but against like a Speed Pass team, I don't know how helpful a passive Mon is. Maybe bringing something just like a little more threatening could have been helpful, or Scolipede to try to counter Speed Pass, but that's basically just a crazy war at that point for speed. But I really like both teams, and I'm bringing you guys the battle. Alrighty, so at the lead matchup, what I notice if I am Fatty, I think that a nice potential just Rotom lead there for momentum I really like. And from Liam, I would just expect a sort of just Gliscor lead, just because that's what his rocker is, and so Fatty could either try to counter that but I just think Rotom's the best bet, so a Rotom Gliscor lead, Rotom Gliscor lead, but obviously I could be wrong here. And we see the Rotom lead, and we see the Latias lead. So Liam wants to play a little more offensively, being able to hit the Rotom for a lot, and Willowing the Latias doesn't help. The Spadef drop kind of sucks because it would probably be able to live another, or at least be a roll. But now you have to switch out into the superior Psychic, which does so much. There's just not really a viable switch in other than maybe the Lunala. But you don't really want to lose your Shadow Shield this early on. But you still have like no real way. Dragon Pull's not doing too much to this thing, and then just dying to Psychic kind of sucks. But now, like it's burnt, which I guess helps. But here comes the Blaziken. I think it's just trying to speed pass into something that wants to really take advantage of it. So at this point, I would say that Lunala would be pretty worth it to speed pass into or Genesect. Hard switches into the Gliscor, which I was like, yeah, that seems fair. Goes into the Genesect with the Douse and getting the special attack raise, which is what it needs. Because at +1, it's water, but I think that Liam thought it was ice, which would have made it different. Yeah. But waters are the only useful one on Genesect since it gets all the other types normally. Gets Ice Beam, Flamethrower, I think, and Thunderbolt. If I remember correctly, those are the other 3 types. But Zamazenta gets to come in, take so much, and then Fire Fang it down. With the Life Orb, take a lot. But yeah, goes Arceus. Just yeah, this Weezing site can't really touch the Arceus too much. Brings out the Rotom, which is a fairly safe, but yeah. Yeah, okay. So now the Rotom's in kind of a favorable position. Going Blaziken, obviously trying to read a switch, but Arceus just kind of recovers. And now Blaziken doesn't really have a great way to touch the Arceus, but at the same time, the Arceus can fire off Earth Powers to really hit hard, though I believe that the Weezing wouldn't be hit by it, the Rotom wouldn't be hit by it, unless he brought Neutralizing Gas, which I don't think he did. I think he went Levitate. But yeah, this battle seems to be in Liam's favor until this point, when this Lunala has the Calm Mind up, and at this point, only Arceus can really take those Moongeist beams. Judgment does not do a lot. Liam probably could set up another one if he wanted to, but at this point, the only real option is T-Tar and missing a Focus Blast. So this is Liam's win con right now is the miss, but obviously it does not happen. So Lunala can kind of just pick up a pretty clean victory at this point, because I don't really know what wants to. Yeah, Arceus gets dropped in one hit, and then at this point Zamazenta would get dropped, and then Gliscor would get dropped. But I don't know if Gliscor would die in one hit. That's kind of iffy. I don't remember if it's chipped at all. But Gliscor, yeah. Just Moongeist beaming it down. And yeah, FattieJones is able to pick up a nice 4-0 victory on the back of his Lunala. Really just, he might have been in an unfavorable position at the beginning, but just identified when the time was right to just set up and sweep. So that Blaziken clearly, speed passing is really strong, obviously. Just getting to do that into threats like Lunala and Genesect, which have really been doing great with speed all season. Just kind of being able to do that is incredible. I like the way that he's been playing it. And then just kind of lower tier defensive backbone. So the team that he brought was a little bit Latias weak, obviously at the start, but he was able to find a sort of way to beat it eventually, identifying that Latias couldn't really hit Genesect too hard, and just passing into that thing, and then once the Genesect couldn't do as much as it wanted to, or once it got Fire Fanged by the Zamazenta, then he just knew that he had to win through the Lunala, which he did, so that was a pretty solid play. Yeah, and now I think I'm getting an interview with Fatty, and I'll be right up with that. Alrighty, joining me today, we have FattieJones. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm FattieJones, of course, coach of Ascended Aipoms.
Yeah. So, this week, how did you feel about your matchup just going into it?
Well, Liam does have a very scary team, so you never are really sure about the matchup. And some of his mons are just very strong against my team. Like, for example, Zamazenta is just very strong in Arceus Fire also.
Yeah, and especially that lead Latias. What did you really think about that one?
Yeah, I saw that in my battle with Monster as well. Latias also has an extremely strong matchup against my team.
Yeah.
So that was quite scary to deal with.
Obviously, you identified that in order to beat it, you pretty much needed to go and get some speed onto the Genesect set. What led you to the Douse Drive Technoblast set this week?
Well, Technoblast with Douse Drive is the only thing Genesect has to hit fire types. So it was to counter his Arceus.
Yeah, so obviously you would need to get some speed on that before you would do that. But did you expect to win with the Genesect or with the Lunala this week?
No, I thought the Genesect would be like more early game to mess his team up a bit, and then Genesect could sweep in the end. I thought I'd need to get rid of the Tyranitar first before Lunala could sweep, but I did have Focus Blast for that.
Yeah, that game, I think if you missed that Focus Blast, it could have gone downhill from there.
Yeah, for sure.
What else? You have some like mixed EV spreads, just like the 100 special attack on the Blaziken, or like the 144 on the Superior. Is that for specific calcs?
Yeah, the 100 special attack Modest Nature on Blaziken is to one-hit KO the Cloister from full with a Vacuum Wave. And the Superior, I'm not quite sure anymore, but I believe its speed was to outrun Latias, and I just wanted some HP and some special attack.
Yeah, and then obviously just speed to outrun things. Was the Genesect just max speed just to try to catch something, or?
Max speed was nearly necessary to outspeed Zamazenta with +1, so I just went with max speed.
Yeah, and then the Weezing set, although you didn't get to show it off, I really liked it. Were you planning to like custom Memento into Blaziken and pass that way?
Yeah, custom Memento into either the Blaziken or the Lunala, depending on what's left on his team. So that could have been very nice if I got that off, but I didn't really need it.
Yeah. I noticed a lot of Liam's mons had sort of fire, ground, and ice coverage. Do you think those are pretty big weaknesses of this team, or?
Well, they could be, but I do have the Rotom Wash that deals with that very nicely.
Yeah, I noticed like Rotom kind of early game, it like looked like it was gonna have to do a lot, and then it just got chunked a lot by the Lunala, or by the Latias, and then didn't really have a reliable way to heal back up. But I assume you were trying to catch maybe a Gliscor lead?
Yeah, I was thinking Gliscor lead indeed.
Yeah.
Rotom just dealt kind of with anything thanks to Will-O-Wisp except for Latias.
Yeah. Anything else you think we should go over?
Well, in the battle, I think there are two plays that I think I could have done them differently. Being the Genesect versus the
Genesect versus
the Zamazenta, and of course, the Lunala versus the Tyranitar.
Mm-hmm.
And the Genesect was mainly a miscalc on my hand, since showed the calc auto puts in the download boosts, and I put it in myself as well.
Yeah.
So it told me the calcs were a +2 psychic instead of a +1.
Yeah.
And for the Lunala, I think the best play would have been to switch into Weezing, as Weezing does not get KO'd by a Crunch into Earthquake, and then can get a Will-O-Wisp into a priority Memento off on the Tyranitar, which could have been a lot safer play than going for the Focus Blast.
Yeah, I'd imagine if you missed that Focus Blast, do you think you still had outs to win that game?
I think that would have been the game for Liam then, if I missed Focus Blast, for sure.
Yeah. We've all lost games to miss Focus Blast, so it must have felt good being able to hit that one and win.
Yeah, I was praying before I clicked it.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that was a solidly played battle on your end, just sort of the miscalc. I think it cost you a little bit of differential, but I don't think it mattered too much past that.
Yeah.
And then obviously the risky plays paying off were also really helpful.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'm excited for our battle next week too.
Oh yeah, I'm basically done with prepping already, so...
Yeah, I gotta get that in. I've got a couple more days of school, free for the summer. Get to prep super hard.
Yeah, nice. Alright.
Alrighty. Thanks for the interview, and until next time, Jesse504, out.